Jumping into the content creation game can be extremely overwhelming. There are a ton of skills you have to learn to get the ball rolling in the right direction. So in today's video, I want to break down the most important skills for new creators to focus on so you can avoid some of the mistakes I made when I was starting out. I got my start in September of 2023, and over this last year, I've made my fair share of mistakes. And the first mistake I made was underestimating how important writing is for all of content creation, even video work. So when I first started out, I didn't value the skill of writing. I thought writing was for people who wanted to write books or be bloggers or whatever else you could think of. As a video creator, I just thought that I would turn on the camera and speak into the lens. And for some of the video portions, I do that. But what I realized is by learning how to write, I'm learning how to organize and filter my ideas in a coherent way and communicate them to an audience in a way that helps them and provides them value more effectively than if I were to just speak freeform. Because when we talk freeform without organizing our ideas first, we have a tendency to blabber on about things that aren't relevant and pull from stories that don't really add any context or value to the audience itself. Scripting your videos, or at least writing bullet point outlines, will instantly improve the quality of communication. The other nice thing about learning how to write is it lowers the bar to get started with content creation. You don't have to jump right into doing video work if you're uncomfortable in front of the camera. You can start off by writing on Twitter or LinkedIn. Maybe you could try Medium or just a newsletter or blog. The way I got started with writing is I signed up for an X account and I just started tweeting every day. That eventually turned into me writing articles on Medium. At the time I was learning photography, so I was writing a lot about what I was learning by taking photos. I was writing about things I came across or techniques I was trying, and I was telling these little stories and trying to make it useful, like educational, but also entertaining for readers. And I was really just learning and exploring how to write because I had never done it before. But doing it daily, a little bit every day, helped me learn how to do it quicker. And eventually it's paid off to the point where now I'm able to write these like 2,000, 3,000 word articles about creativity and learning and skill development. I'm able to turn them into scripts like the one you're listening to right now. I personally had no interest in learning how to write, and I only did it after coming across a podcast with Nicholas Cole and Ali Abdaal where they were going on and on about the benefits of writing. And it wasn't until that day where it clicked that writing would allow me to effectively communicate how to help people with their problems, making my content more valuable. And once that clicked, like, oh, if I can identify people's problems and think of a way to solve it for them, I can communicate that solution through writing. And then I'm able to speak that script out to an audience and get that message out to help more people. And that's how you make content that's valuable, right? So that was kind of the light bulb moment for me that got me started with writing. For the last year, I've been writing almost every day for close to 11 months now, and I love it. It's really hard at first, but when you first start writing, you're only gonna be able to write, 50 to 100 words without feeling like, I don't know what to do. That number is going to go up to like 250 to 500 words, and then you'll even get to the point where you can sit down and write 2,000, 3,000 word articles in one sitting if you can develop the skill and just start working at it. That's where I'm at right now, where after doing enough research and thinking about an idea long enough, I could sit down for like 2 to 3 hours and write like a 3,000 word piece on something. And that's something I never would have imagined I could do before. So a little bit goes a long way. You could start with journaling. Honestly, journaling is my favorite way to get started with writing because journaling has a host of benefits on its own. It allows you to kind of like gain clarity on a lot of the problems you might be having. It allows you to goal set. You could do gratitude journaling. You could just journal about stuff that's happening so you don't forget it. Even note taking in a way is a form of journaling. If you're like researching something, you're taking notes and you're kind of asking yourself questions about the notes in a journal, it's a really effective way to just start writing. Man, it could be as simple as that. And then you could take those notes, you could take those journal entries, and you can use them as jumping off ideas for content that you can use to help somebody else. Because again, if you're able to identify problems that an audience has and provide a solution for those problems, then you are going to be able to help somebody, and your content has a better chance of being valuable for somebody. So if you're struggling with a problem and you're journaling about it, and you get some sort of clarity about the problem through that journaling exercise, well, there you go. That's actually a content idea right there, because odds are if you're struggling with that problem, somebody else probably is too. So the second skill you need to master is getting over your fear of the camera ASAP. Video content dominates the landscape as of 2024. Every creator knows video is a great opportunity to expand their reach, but for some reason everyone has this crippling fear of speaking into a camera. And I'm here to tell you those fears are completely inflated. Nobody cares as much as you do. Trust me. Their judgment lasts for no more than 5 seconds before they move on and forget who you were. But don't worry, only a small fraction of people are going to judge. You'd be surprised at how kind and generous strangers can be with their compliments. We trust and connect with people more when we see them. Showing your face and your personality allows for a deeper connection with your audience. Don't miss the opportunity for the good because you fear the bad. What I did to get started was I posted really short videos on Twitter because at the time Twitter was starting to incorporate video content into the feed. And the nature of Twitter means that things will show up for a day and then they disappear in the algorithm. So to me, it felt like a safe space to kind of just practice speaking into a camera where people had the potential to watch it, but they most likely weren't going to watch it because I only had 50 followers at the time. I was honestly petrified about speaking in the front of the camera because I just didn't know what to say. It's really hard, right? And maybe 2 people would see it and then it would just disappear in the algorithm and I would just be like, okay, well, I guess I didn't die. Speaking into a camera is incredibly awkward for someone like me because in real life, I'm actually very social, very outgoing, very personable, and I'm very much the type of person that will look you in the eye, shake your hand, crack a bunch of jokes, make the situation calm and at ease. And it's very easy for me to kind of read body language and get a feel for the person I'm interacting with and kind of push the boundaries, see what kind of jokes I can make and what kind of things that they like to talk about and make the whole situation more comfortable and enjoyable for everybody. Speaking into a camera, on the other hand, is actually way more nerve-wracking for me. And I don't know if this is an introvert, extrovert thing. I have no idea. I don't know. It seems like a lot of introverts are able to talk into a camera and be totally fine about it because there's not a human there. Whereas someone like me, without the human there, it actually makes me really nervous. I feed off of the energy of another person. So to have an inanimate object that I'm talking to makes the whole situation feel just unnatural for me. So learning how to speak into a camera has actually been really hard. The way that I've started to practice speaking into a camera is by doing a little bit of it every single day. So what I'll do is when I get in my car to go to work or to go to the grocery store, maybe I'll be in the car for 10 minutes, right? I will literally just put my phone down on the dash, I'll hit record, and I'll ask myself a question how would you learn a new skill, right? And I just, while driving, off the top of my head, start speaking about my ideas. Now, I'm not looking into the camera, so it's not a perfect practice, right? But it does get me kind of comfortable with just speaking off the top of my head and just elaborating on my thoughts without having a human being responding to me. Because for me, that's a large part of the challenge. Now, the other big part of this is when you are practicing speaking into a camera, make sure you're staring directly at the lens. You want to feel like the viewer is looking into your eyes. You want to feel like you're looking into the viewer's eyes, right? The worst thing you could do is to start looking at the viewfinder, because once you start looking at the viewfinder, well, now all of a sudden the fourth wall is broken, right? I'm no longer talking to you, I'm talking to the camera. You don't want to do that. So whatever you do, when you do start practicing talking to the camera, make sure you're looking directly in that lens. Now, it's super important to do video content as a creator because video is just an incredibly effective medium for the message. You can be a Twitter writer or a Medium writer and it's fine, it's cool. You could stay anonymous, whatever, but nobody will deny the power of YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube Shorts, all this stuff. The video is for sure a part of the future of the creator economy. And all the top creators have incorporated video into their content. So it's one of those things where the sooner you get started on working on it, the better. Because when I started making video content, I had 50 followers on Twitter, right? Nobody saw these videos. So it was actually a very low risk thing for me to do. I would just speak into a camera, I would tweet it out, 2 people would see the video and then it would die. But if you have 20,000 followers on Twitter and you start doing video content, well, now all of a sudden you've got thousands of people potentially who are going to be judging your very first video attempt. And you're going to be nervous. There's just no denying it. I'm still nervous doing this stuff. So the sooner you get started on getting over this fear, the better, because there's just no way around it other than get the reps in. People like Ali Abdaal can turn on a camera, and just speak into it for like 30 minutes straight because they've been doing it for years. He's made over 800 videos. The camera is his friend at this point. So you just got to get going on it, and eventually you'll get over this fear. The third mistake I made was ignoring the power of starting a newsletter. At some point, you might want to monetize your creator business, and the best way to do this is by starting a newsletter. Ask anyone in the field, and they will tell you an email list is your most valuable asset as a creator. That's because an email list is owned by you and not a platform. YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, they can all change their algorithms at any point or even ban you for saying the wrong thing. An email list guarantees you have direct line of communication with your biggest fans. Learning how to start a newsletter is super important. I think most video creators specifically don't understand the importance of a newsletter. I think a lot of people think of like email, like why do I want an email list? I'm not sending out emails to people. Who even checks their emails? Everybody checks their emails, okay? And the cool thing about an email is that when you send it out, it's got your name on the subject line and it goes to the top of their inbox. And that inbox is not dictated by an algorithm. YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, these are all algorithm-based feeds, right? So you could put something out there, and even people who subscribe to you and who follow you and want to see your content might not see your content because the algorithm won't put it up at the top. Email allows you direct access to that inbox and it'll put it right up to the top. So even if you're not going to be sending out like well thought out newsletters, or maybe you're just not ready to stay consistent with it, at least start building up that list, because when you have that list, you have a direct line of communication with your audience that you otherwise wouldn't have. And you can use newsletter for a number of things. So some people do original thought piece newsletters, which is something I do. I'll like send out a newsletter. Usually it's pretty deep, in-depth topic. And then a lot of times what I'll do is I'll turn that newsletter into a video script and make a video of it later. Other people will do what's called like a curated newsletter. So they'll the purpose of the newsletter is to save the reader time. So this is kind of like a news update type thing. So Colin Samir, they have a really cool newsletter, the Published Press, where they do like some thought pieces on different creators in the economy, but it's also like a news update newsletter. So they're basically doing the work of researching what's going on in the creator economy. They're curating it for you into this nice little newsletter, and then they're sending it to you. So you don't have to like go figure out and go search out all these news stories. You can just open up their newsletter and know that they did a pretty good job of curating it for you. A more advanced use case of a newsletter is to market and sell digital products that you might have. This is what a lot of like marketers on Twitter and stuff will do, is they'll have like a course for sale. You sign up for their newsletter, their free product. They'll have like a lead magnet, right? Which is like the freebie that you get for signing up for their newsletter. You sign up and then you get an automated sequence of emails that are educating you on a problem. And then towards the end of that email sequence, they'll be selling you on a product that they offer that solves that problem. So there'll be stuff like writing courses, right? Where maybe you'll follow somebody like Nicholas Cole or Dickie Bush, and they have their writing program Ship 30 for 30. So you sign up for their Get Started Writing Online newsletter. You'll get an email sequence. And then towards the end of that email sequence, you'll get a pitch on signing up for their cohort, Ship 30 for 30. And you could choose to sign up for it or not. Regardless, they're going to send you emails. They're going to send you tips and stuff like that periodically. But the purpose of that email newsletter is actually a marketing tool to make a sale of the digital product that they offer. So that's like more advanced use case of the newsletter. But regardless, you can even just use a newsletter as like a way to update your fans, right? Like, let's say you're a YouTuber, but you're not on Twitter or on these other platforms, and you just want a way to directly communicate with your audience, but you don't want to make like a whole video, right? So you could just send out a newsletter update. Hey, new video coming up tomorrow. By the way, been up to this, yada, yada. Gonna be speaking at this thing on this date. So a newsletter is super powerful. It's just a direct line of communication. An email list is something that you own. It's yours as a creator. It has multiple use cases. It allows you to get to the top of their inbox, and it allows you to market your products or just give fans an update on what you're up to. So don't sleep on a newsletter. They're super important. I think they're going to be the most important thing going on in the future. I don't think they're really ever going to go out of style. Emails kind of been the one thing that stood the test of time on the internet. And an email is really easy to get started. Most of these sites will have free options that are totally perfect for beginning use cases. Getting newsletter subscribers isn't that complicated either. You just got to put a link for people to click on, right? So like a lot of YouTubers and stuff will just put a link in the description below of like to their newsletter so that you can sign up and become a part of their list. And speaking of that, there's a link in the description below to sign up to my newsletter. So sign up for something like ConvertKit or Beehive to set up your newsletter for free. And don't worry about even sending anything just yet. Just have a link that people could sign up for. So if you ever do want to start communicating with your audience, you have direct line of communication. I hope that helps clarify some of the most important skills to learn as a new creator. Stuff like video editing and learning how to color grade and do animations and all this other fancy stuff can honestly wait. These 3 skills are way more fundamental to your success and they could be practiced from day one. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you liked the video. Take care.